On the last episode of Celebrity Slave Owner Babies, I discussed how Donald Trump is the only living US president that doesn't descend from Americans that enslaved black people. On top of being my second most viewed video ever, it also sparked a lot of interesting takes in the comments. So the first common idea is some sort of discomfort or feeling that the video shouldn't have been made because Trump supporters might use it to support him. Well, if that's your take, I kind of have bad news for you because they already did. This is a screen grab from the Fox show Gutfeld, which has been hailed as the most watched late night show. And in this segment, he goes over the report and leads his audience to right-wing conclusions from it. And here's another Fox News segment on the topic. In short, this info has been making the rounds, and just because you may not have known it or felt more comfortable before you knew it, never meant the rest of the world wouldn't find out. If anything, introducing this information to my audience, which majority consists of non-Trump supporters, allows us the time to sit with and critically analyze this information before it could be weaponized at a more significant time, which, as demonstrated, can happen either way because right-wing media is already popularizing this detail amongst themselves. As the sayings go, ignorance is bliss and knowledge is power. And this leads me to my next response, which is the people who say, this was so long ago, none of these people are alive today, what is the point in learning this now? Well, first, let's just BFFR for a second. In school, I had to learn about this man's wives, and in detail, why and how he murdered them in medieval times. In school, I also had to memorize the relationships, lineages, and actions of this mythological family that no one has actually believed in for like 1,000 years. But learning something that the great-grandfather of a living US president did is too far back and too distant? Okay. And you know what? Even if we go with that and ignore the double standard, there's a very real actual benefit to creating awareness around the widespread lineages that go back to the slave trade. So the reporters who did this research at Reuters actually found out that white Americans who knew that their ancestors owned slaves were generally more likely to support policies like reparations. And this was true amongst the general population of white Americans as well as white Republicans. And the reason can best be summed up by another slave owner baby, Senator Chris Van Hollen from my home state of Maryland. And he said, "The knowledge that I have ancestors that participated in the evil institution of slavery causes me to reflect even more personally about what I have always believed and acted on, that we have a moral imperative to confront the legacy and impact of our nation's original sin with honesty and purposeful action." But stay tuned for the next episode on congressmen and judges and follow for more.